what did the TVA want with Wade Wilson? And is it more complicated than him simply being a variant? The recent teaser for Deadpool and Wolverine gave us much insight into Wade's upcoming multiversal adventure, and specifically, a look into what the TVA has to do with it all. So based on this trailer, what does it seem the TVA wants with Wade Wilson, and what makes him so special? What is his mission? And why does it specifically have to do with him today? Let's break it down, discuss the trailer, and see why Deadpool. This variant is so special. When we last saw Deadpool, he was in the process of cleaning up multiple timelines, including saving Vanessa and Peter from X-Force. Now, it seems like he settled into his new life on an unidentified timeline. He is celebrating his birthday with his friends and seems to have retired from multiversal antics after setting everything up correctly. This is when the TVA, though, comes knocking. They wrestle Wade into the TVA, where we meet an individual whom the subtitles refer to as a paradox, and he seems to have a particular interest in having Wade join the MCU, but he never gives a proper explanation as to why. So let's discuss why we think the Paradox is interested in Deadpool. Right now, it seems as if Paradox is offering Wade a place on Earth 616 as a reward for doing something for him. Once Wade completes this sort of mission, then he will be granted a place on the mainline MCU timeline where he can interact with the main Marvel cast. We know Paradox isn't punishing him for any multiverse hill tampering, simply because Loki is now protecting all of the timelines, and the TVA is no longer pruning Nexus events. But this leaves an interesting detail open to explore, which is why this way specifically didn't have to do with how Loki himself first got involved in the TVA, and this is as a consultant on a very specific matter of expertise. Loki was spared because a variant of himself was causing a particular amount of destruction within the TVA, and they had to understand how a Loki thought and how to counter a Loki, his personality, and their capabilities. Is it possible that they're doing something similar with Wade here, and that he's hunting a variant of himself? Furthermore, is it possible that we actually might have an idea of who this specific variant is? We've only gotten a brief look into the universe that Wade will be visiting, but we do know a few key details about it. Aside from its variant of Wolverine and several shots, and in some of the behind-the-scenes promotional material, you can see the crumbling 20th Century Fox logo, symbolizing the fall of the Fox's dominion over the X-Men properties. Is it possible that this universe is actively dying, and that Deadpool himself may be to blame? If so, then this universe may be a victim of the Deadpool Kills, the Marvel Universe arc, which saw a sadistic Deadpool variant going door to door and executing even the most powerful superheroes in this reality. The variant of Deadpool responsible for this atrocity ultimately came to be known as the Dreadpool of Earth 12101. The default version of Deadpool that we know has several voices in his head at any given time, but Dreadpool is far more unhinged than just about any other variant. Instead of multiple voices in his head, Dreadpool only has one, and it's the voice that compels him to murder incessantly without mercy or remorse across the universe. The Avengers, the X-Men, the Fantastic Four, and any other hero. When the universe were firmly in Dreadpool sights, and he figured out how to kill even the most powerful heroes in this reality in the MCU. We know that Deadpool knows about the parent companies of the film industry, since Deadpool knows who has the rights and who they belong to. Dreadpool may know he's been given over to Disney as well, and might have been driven mad as a result of this. Perhaps he wants to go out on his terms. Or he believes he's saving everyone in the universe from the clutches of the mouse, but this part is strictly speculative. As of now, even. Though it's just a fun idea to explore the notion of a Deadpool who will be dragged into Disney's grasp, kicking and screaming is an entertaining thought. And the idea that he would resort to murdering his whole universe as a result of this, he'd just be crazy enough to work. If this version of Deadpool is on the loose, regardless of what pushed him over the edge, then Paradox's Minutemen might not be able to do anything about it. We've seen Deadpool slaughter droves of goons, and it's possible that the TVA simply doesn't have an effective way to catch this variant of the Merc with the mouth, especially if they can't do the timeline that he's on. In the old days of the TVA, they could simply prune an entire timeline with all variants being wiped out. But now, they have to be much more careful with their approaches. If they are going to find a variant of Deadpool who is capable of tracking and beating Dreadpool, then this version of Wade seems to be one of the top candidates. Wade has spent his time creating a custom timeline for himself, bringing up back to life and altering the course of history. This means that this universe has almost certainly split away from the original reality. He has a considerable amount of multiverse experience, even though he didn't know it, and is going to visit several other timelines. But so far, we have no evidence that he has caused any severe or permanent damage to the timelines that this Deadpool has visited. Paradox has good reason to choose this specific variant, and since the Fox universe has ceded control over Disney, it gives Wade an incentive to help, while we find this to be one of the more compelling options. There's also evidence to suggest that regardless of what Wade's specific mission is, the TVA is using him as a lab rat and has a vested interest in studying his adventures. He's going to be visiting the home of this new Wolverine, and presumably the MCU proper, and he's going to be killing several individuals on the way. Then, based on the MCU logic, he should pose a significant threat to the very fabric of reality itself. We know that spending time in neighboring realities for prolonged periods drastically increases the risk of an incursion. Doctor Strange caused an incursion after around a day on Earth 838. Right now, some universes seem more fragile than others. Despite all of this, though, the Paradox doesn't seem hesitant to relocate Wade onto Earth 616 and the mainline MCU. And he even tells him that he's allowing him to be a hero among other heroes. Surely he should know, however, that this would cause irreparable harm to the main timeline. If Wade triggers an incursion, why would he directly endanger an innocent timeline, even if it meant catching Deadpool? If he has evidence to suggest that Wade can live a long life on another timeline without endangering it, however, then it might also inform his choice to select this specific variant. But anyway, my friends, what are your thoughts on this theory? In the idea? Do you think this is why Deadpool is being called to resolve an adaptation of Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe? And if so, then who do you think the antagonist of the film is going to be? And could it be a Deadpool? How many heroes do you think will be dead by the time Wade arrives? And if Deadpool is truly committed to absolute genocide, then has he gone mad? What timelines has he conquered? And what role is Wolverine going to play?